next election. She hated the Texas Rangers. And when they killed the two motorcycle policemen on Easter Sunday, the Department of Corrections, who was in charge of getting bad guys off the road, they went to Mount Ferguson. They said, you know, because now the whole state of Texas is in love with it. And he said there's only one person who can do this.
I'm not sure it's where the maid. Where's the word?
It's in St. Francisville, Louisiana.
That's where the maid was cheating on the husband, and then she poisoned the wife and the kids, and she's supposed to be more honest place. He felt different things in there than I did. And I looked in the mirrors. They always said to look in the mirrors.
I've been to all these places. They said it's the most haunted places. Like the Civil War prison. It's like
Chuck, did you feel anything here?
Huh?
Have you felt anything?
Oh yeah.
What are you feeling?
She don't like us in here.
She don't like us in here.
No.
It's a she.
Yeah.
Is it mom?
Yep.
nobody else.
No.
Get out of my house.
Yeah, we did a phone tour and St. Augustine. We went upstairs. Dad was upstairs to the off. They told you go stories up there. Offered you drinks. And we went back down. We got about halfway down. He said, "Don't shove me. These are steep." I'm at the top of the steps waiting for us to go down so I don't hurt anybody in the car. I'm not behind you. So, we get outside.
Excuse me. I can spend the whole day here. Okay, this light. Okay, this ain't gonna work. This light is killing everything.
That's what I said. Who's in Kansas City? You got dancing in the blood. That doesn't come from Jersey. So, or Chicago.
When I was a teenager. One little interesting thing.
Yeah.
My mom got just 6 months. My was that's one of those. And our base is while they used to go shopping.
So what did you see in the living room?
All right. So, anybody wants to hear, I'll tell you what happened, what the ghost story was. Let me just yell and see if anybody wants to come in with the note. That's fine. Hey, if you guys are interested, I'm going to tell you what happened with the ghost, if you're interested. All right. So, let me stand here if you would, if you don't mind. That's where I was standing when it happened. So, the tour was over, we're getting ready to go. Everybody's in the living room. I was answering questions. And a guy asked me, why didn't you discuss Al Capone? Al Capone is big in this time frame. The reason I don't discuss Al Capone is because technically Al Capone is considered a mobster, not a gangster. The difference is mobsters never left town. Capone never left Chicago. Capone could walk down the streets of Chicago. Everybody knew who he was. Nobody called the police. Gangsters moved from town to town. If they robbed a bank and then ran down to the A&P to get a soda and somebody seen them and recognized them, they'd come home, pack up, and take off to the next town. So that was basically the difference. So I'm explaining the difference And as I'm talking to him, now Thomas, who was the park ranger, is standing at the door, his back's to the door. He's ready to open up, let everybody out. I'm standing here, everybody's looking at me. I'm talking about Al Capone, and I see everybody's face turn to the right. Everybody turned like this. When I look over, this easel, which at that time was standing right here, these fireplace tools were standing here, and this was basically where here. So as I'm standing, I see everybody turn their head, I look over, that easel has now about this high up in the air, and it leans over in midair, and I'm telling you, 20 people saw it, not just me. It turns on, like if it was on the ground, it would have turned on its left leg, but it, up in the air, pivots, and comes across the room, hits this stuff, and knocks it out into the dining room. Now, this thing weighs about, I don't know, 3 pounds, there's nothing to it, it's just balsa wood. That stuff, you know, that's heavy stuff. It hit with such force, went out into the dining room. So Thomas was his first tour. He looks at me and he said, "What the hell is that all about?" I said, "I don't know, Thomas, I've never seen anything like that." Thomas has never come back. He refuses to do the tours. And this is probably 4 or 5 years ago. So again, folks, is that a ghost story? It's not going to keep you up late at night, I know. How that happened, I don't know, but again, 20 people seen it. The other thing that happened, the pictures, all the pictures of the women that are throughout the house, most of those are mine. I brought most of these pictures in from my house in my gangster collection, but at one time, all the pictures of the women, the girlfriends, they were all lined up, one right after another. And they're like, I don't know, what do you call them, like 3 by 5s or something. And Ma Barker was known to hate all women except Dolores Delaney, the one that was pregnant with Alvin Karpus's baby. That would have been the closest thing to a grandchild Ma Barker would have known, because she was dead before Lloyd had his 2 children. So Dolores Delaney couldn't do anything wrong. But all the other women, I've read all their interviews after the guys were dead, they all said the same thing. It was a horrible way to live. They were mentally abused, sexually abused, whatever you want to call it. It was a terrible way to live. When they were here, the boys slept in one room and the girls in the other. Ma Barker did not allow that to go on. I guess you could shoot federal agents, but no hanky-panky in this house. So the girls all said, Edna Murray and Winona Burdett especially, Arthur's girlfriend, said, we hated even coming down there because she treated us like dogs. She didn't want us in the house, we knew it. But anyway, so these pictures are all lined up. There's about 6 of them. So we left for the first tour, came back for the second tour, and all the pictures are now stacked face down, one on top of the other in a nice, neat little pile, except Dolores's picture. Her picture is face up on top of this stack. George, Ma's legal husband, and what's her name, that killed her son Lloyd out in Jenny, killed her son in Lloyd in Colorado. Her picture and Ma's husband, both of those pictures are turned face down. How did that happen? I don't know. I know nobody was in the house between the time we left and came back. Anyway, is that a ghost? I don't know. That's all I've seen. The one lady who works with us, the park ranger, she's told me, because one of her jobs, she comes in and cleans and dusts and stuff. She told me several times she's gone upstairs and the beds are a mess. So after she's made them. Again, I'm just telling you what she said. I've never seen that yet. One other quick thing I want to tell you. Anybody ever heard of Colma, California? C-O-L-M-A. It's just south of San Francisco. It's a little bitty town. It's 2.2 square miles. In that 2.2 square miles, there are 13 major cemeteries. Think about that. How many cemeteries do you see in 2 miles from your house? Colma has 13. Arthur, who was shot at Alcatraz, is buried in Mount Olivet Cemetery in Colma. He's also buried in the same cemetery as Joe DiMaggio, William Randolph Hearst, Levi Strauss, and a few others. But the reason I bring that up is not counting the 13 cemeteries. Again, I only bring it up because Arthur's there. But underneath the 13 cemeteries, there's approximately 2 million people buried there in a pit. San Francisco in 1900 said, no more burials. Our land is too valuable for the living. We won't use it for the dead. In 1914, San Francisco issued an eviction notice. They said, get out. Every cemetery, get out. Take your marble and your stone, dump it in the bay, and dig the bodies up and get them out of here. So they went down to Colma and dug a great big pit, and dumped about 2 million people in there, and then covered it up and made cemeteries above it, which is where Arthur Barker is. So, if there are any questions, I told you, I'll talk all day. I'm not bashful. I love gangsters and bad guys. So,
What route did they take? Where do they travel from? What route did they take? And is it still
which one are you talking about?
Ma Barker when they came down here?
Well, what happened was that when they went to Miami, there was a man named down there, his name was Joe Adams. He ran the Commodore Hotel. That's why they went to Miami, because Joe Adams was basically a gangster. When they got down there, Joe Adams was friends with Carson Bradford, who owned this house. And he's the one that convinced Carson Bradford to rent this house for $75. J. Edgar Hoover hounded Carson Bradford for a long time. He wanted to put him in jail. He said he knew he rented it to Ma Barker. They could never prove that. Joe Adams, who was running the Commodore Hotel, they did prove he knew, and Joe Adams was sent to federal prison for a few years. After this all happened, the gunfight was over, they found out that Joe Adams spent his honeymoon in this house years before. So obviously him and Carson Bradford knew each other from a way back. So they came up from Miami, moved in here November 9th. So, but that's when they split up out of Tulsa, Oklahoma, to get out of town. And then Karpus came back, but he came back after they were dead, because the money from the kidnapping started to show up around. So it started to show up in Cuba, and that's why Alvin Karpus came back to the States.
So in that 9 weeks, pretty much every member of the gang stayed here?
In and out all the time. Yep, according to neighbors, there was people in and out all the time. And like I said, there's a place down here called Duck's Dam Diner. You ever heard of it? It's just down the road. It's an old country diner, real tiny, small, great breakfast, but there's a picture in there of Ma and Freddie with the neighbors. So, yeah, they said and the other reports I read from St. Paul, some of the other places where these guys held out, they all said Ma Barker was as friendly as could be. She would hire the kids to do the lawn. She always had cookies and lemonade for them. So they all got great reviews where they were. And the guys basically stayed in the house during the day unless they were robbing or kidnapping.
Well, a good con man's got to be the nicest guy you ever met.
Oh, absolutely.
You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. So, and of course the kidnapping started because of depression. Banks were running out of money. The banks that still had money were being robbed. So Catherine Kelly, Machine Gun Kelly's wife, is the one that convinced him to kidnap Charles Urschel, the billionaire. But that all stemmed from the Lindbergh baby kidnapping. That started the kidnapping craze in this country. So, and there's no doubt
Upstairs
in my
in that
mind.
bedroom.
Do you have a take on the Lindbergh?
Did you look in the
baby?
closet
No
where the
doubt
t-shirts
Charles
were?
Lindbergh did that.
Did you want to
Charles
do it?
Lindbergh dropped that baby. It was never kidnapped.
Yeah.
And,
Because it said
you
Ma
know, I
Barker
had
Church is
people on
sold
this
at Lake
tour
River
coming
Sale
out, it's
across
crazy.
from Oklahoma
But
Post
I'm
Office.
thoroughly convinced that Charles Lindbergh.
Oh,
dropped
that's
that
just
baby.
right up the
Well,
road.
he was a big Nazi supporter.
Sure he was.
And the kid wasn't perfect.
Did you want a t-shirt? A Ma
Yeah.
Barker t-shirt?
So he
Yeah.
was embarrassed by-
Yeah, it embarrassed the dog out of
You
me.
know, when they,
Yeah, it's in
when,
that closet up there, I saw
Betty
it.
Gow, the nurse, in court, she said the day she went up was March 31st. She went upstairs to check on the baby. She had put the baby to bed at 7. She said normal routine was to go up at 10 o'clock. I always cracked the window a little bit because it was cold up there in Jersey in March. And she said I'd go back up at 10, shut the, and my last check on the baby. She was a 24-hour nurse that lived with the Lindberghs. She said, when I went upstairs, I closed the window and I realized the baby's not in the bed. I ran downstairs. I said to Ann, the mother, and Colonel Lindbergh. He insisted on being called Colonel by everybody. She said, I yelled, Colonel, do you have the baby? She said, he stood up and he said to his wife, Ann, they have kidnapped our son. That's what he said. That's the first thing he said. Betty Gow said in court, she said, the reason I ran to Colonel Lindbergh was that 2 months before this, I go upstairs, the baby's missing. I run downstairs, Colonel Lindbergh and Ann, they jump up, they start tearing the house apart. They can't find the baby. This goes on for about an hour, and then he says to his wife, I was just kidding. I hid the baby in the closet. It was just a joke. So she said, when the baby was missing the second time, I ran right to him. Do you have the baby? I thought he was having another joke. So that's just the beginning of what happened up there. I mean, it was, you know who's in charge of the Lindbergh baby kidnapping?
No.
Remember Norman Schwarzkopf story, Norman?
Yeah.
His father. His father was in charge of state police.
I didn't know that.
This is fascinating.
Oh, yeah, well, you can tell as far as what
Well,
I love your bad guys.
This guy could tell you, who, as far as Kansas City Mob,
Yeah.
who was related to who, and blah, blah, you know. We went to school with their grandkids.
thank you, excuse me.
Well, again, Kansas City, that ranks up there with Brooklyn, Manhattan, and Chicago.
Bonnie and Clyde weren't they, didn't they have a shootout up in
Yeah.
I was thinking more like Weston or Parkville or.
Yeah, the one that's there.
I wouldn't doubt it.
Isn't St. Joe where they went off the bridge? Where Bonnie got hurt back? Wasn't it the St. Joseph shootout? He was dead.
My sister lived about 7 miles from the old James farm.
I mean, I think that's
Up
what.
in, she lived in Edgerton. And you cross, what is it? 250, what's that road that goes through? 192. You go across it, a couple of miles, and then turn left down, and then the old farm's down there.
Yeah, that's fascinating. I've got a museum right next to me. I live in the same county. Right down.
There is something. But it seems that
It's
they're.
fascinating stuff.
Yeah. You know what's weird is Tennessee, if you go like somewhere in Missouri, those kinds of stuff, you just see pictures of Jesse James, stuff like that, like you see when you go to Kansas, you don't see that.
Oh, that was a bloody border back in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to like
I go around, I visit cemeteries. I've got about 300 graves, and one, they won't let you go to this grave, the cemetery's closed off, you can't even go in. You know, but it's from the 1800s. I can't remember what it was, those things are really old.
I got those, I got that.
Yeah, that's some fascinating stuff. Kansas is, of course, you got the cemetery out there, right? What's the famous
Yeah, they
cemetery?
said that it was a shooting.
One of the most public places in America.
Mom Barker, can you hear us? Can you hear us? Freddie, are you here? I can feel you. If you're here, say something, please. Thank you for letting us tour the house. I really enjoyed the history. Thank you so much. Don't agree with what you did, but thank you so much. This is the original hooks, I guess. Okay.
That phrase. And get some credit for it, at least. All right, all right. Oh, Sorry.
No, you're fine.
Nobody else has left in there.
I'll just walk around real quick.
What'd you do in the Department of Justice?
I was a supervisor in the Federal Bureau of Prisons for 25 years.
Really,
Yeah.
I'm retired 31 years with Florida prisons,
Oh, all right, okay.
sergeant.
All right.
I got to transport Danny Rollins.
Oh, all right. Cool.
And you know anything about OJ?
Yeah, a little bit.
Paula Barbieri. I went to high school with her, and her twin brother was in my dorm,
Really?
and she married a judge from Bay County.
Huh. When did you retire?
2023. I left a year early. I couldn't do it no more. It's bad.
Feds used to be pretty sweet, but now that's terrible. My son's a lieutenant, and he tells me all the time it's terrible. When I was there, it was pretty good. I started Noticeville, New York, and came down to Coleman in '95 to open that. And I was only supposed to stay 2 years. I didn't want to come to Florida, to be honest with you. But the prison got so big, you know, it's the largest federal prison in the country now, right down the road here. And most people had no idea it's even there. It used to be all watermelon farms. So, but now the villages are spread all the way down there.
Yeah, Ricky Dixon, the outgoing secretary, he ran off all the old timers and brought all the new timers in. They don't want to work. They don't want to do the rounds. They don't want to.
That's exactly
Go
what
say,
the
"Hey,
feds did. That's exactly. And
Don't wanna-
You're right, making rounds is a thing of the past, and the feds too. Yep.
Hey, inmate, pull your pants up. Inmate, get in line. None of that no more.
We got 3 orders.
I mean, I didn't abuse them, but
So we're
No, I
gonna
get it.
sit
I
around
didn't
there,
either.
yeah.
but
And it's on the pictures, the orders are right there.
They don't wanna go.
like, oh, they ain't hurting nothing.
You want the corner, you want the middle?
You know, there's another good book out there. It's called Gangster Hunters, and it's a real good book. It's about the good guys and how they captured the bad guys.
Solana?
Yeah. And I
Yeah.
say that
We got
because
double
the
solana
author is
first,
a
maybe.
lawyer out of New York City. His name's John Older. He came down here to get pictures of this and interviewed me. Yeah. So he mentions me in the book. But it's a great book. I wouldn't mention just because I read it. It's a great book.
No, he's government, he's HJ. He needs to.
Oh, yeah, it's like $20 on Amazon.
You wanna get it? I'll hold it if you wanna get it out.
I'll get it out when we
I'd
leave.
like to give you a discount, but I'm not that famous. So.
Curious how this is. They only go into another
The original.
I found the easiest way to do this is pass around the envelope, and so it's the $10 for the
Right.
tour
Yeah.
and per person. And if anybody wants to tip Wayne, you can hand it directly to him.
You need to get it out
Yeah,
there.
I can actually.
Yeah, remember we told you that if you didn't like the tour,
20 for the ride, 20 for the plane.
I don't know.
And
Give me a 5, I'll give you.
down the river and Marshall Bridge.
Make sure it's separated.
Yeah, later.
Yeah, I just did that.
Just take this. Wasn't there?
what I said though.
All right, so I'm gonna put the 20 in here.
Well, what?
Hold on to your 20, and then I'll make change for you. That way I don't get you.
Swivel.
Yeah.
Barges.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Pass it around. My eyes couldn't pick up the end of it.
I think we'll get 2 Gatorades.
Sweat it out today.
Oh, it's worth it.
All this vegetation.
Yeah, because this is all Marion County. What EPA is holding up on is if you're interested, if you go back out to the end of the road, go all the way to the main road, make a right. If you go down just before the second red light, you see that second red light coming? There's a big yellow biplane in a guy's yard. You can't miss that. Just before, as soon as you see the airplane, if you look to your right, you'll see the boathouse and the dock that belong to this, the original. It's still in Lake Weir, but environmentalists won't let them move it over here. Who the hell knows why? But they're hoping once it's officially historic status, they'll be allowed to move that over. Then they want to clear this out. But again, every boater that goes by will be up here trying to get in the house.
Be a lot more
So they left
vandalism.
it down until they get the security. The big lights around, that just went in not too long ago. But they don't light it up at night yet. So, but anyway, yeah, so if you go out, if you're interested, just before the second red light, you'll see there's a huge white house being built there. That's where this originally stood. The White House is on the same property, but not in the same place. Where this house stood, it's still vacant. So you can see it again just before the second red light. You look to your right and you'll see this huge white house that's brand new. If you are interested in stopping, I will tell you this, that's a busy road, they speed, and it's a bit of a drop like this. So if you want to get out and look, just be careful because it's a steep little hill and you know they're going 100 miles an hour out there, so just be careful. All right, we all good?
Where's the envelope at?
Here.
Here, Wayne, this is for you.
They're supposed to pass it around. I guess it got stuck back here.
Very knowledgeable tour, we enjoyed it.
I'm glad, thank you. Remember now, if you didn't like the tour, it's $10 to get back to your car. That's for you. Thank you.
I'll wait for change.
Because everybody will pay for that. Nobody gonna walk back to that car from here.
No.
All right, you wanna, we can head out and we'll just pass the envelope up. Or do you want, whatever you say, you're the boss. I'm just a volunteer here, you're the boss.
Where is the envelope?
I feel like I'm in church.
The envelope's coming.
It's in the back.
Yeah,
It's in the back.
I think they're getting.
Yeah.
They got cards out back for playing.
I pulled this out of mine. Yeah.